Welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders, a weekly talk show with local and national thought leaders on issues impacting the Black community. Now introducing our host, Ms. Anne Marie Sorrell.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Legacy Leaders. I'm your host, Anne Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this afternoon. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Thank you to the Mesman and Dover Accident Attorneys and AARP. Now, today I am joined by a very special guest, and it's actually our last guest of 2021. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Clinton Forbes, who's the Executive Director of Palm Tran Public Transportation. Welcome, Clinton.
Hey, Ann, how are you? Thank you.
I'm wonderful. I've been trying to get you on this show for a while, and I'm so happy that you were able to join us today. I know you had a super tight schedule, but I'm so glad you're able to be with us, and you're our last guest of the year.
Oh, you saved the best for last. I love it.
Absolutely. Now, for those who may not know you, I'm just going to officially introduce you by just briefly going over your bio. And then we're going to have you kind of share with us in your own words, your journey to where, because you're a Florida native, which is very rare. So I want you to be able to share your journey. But before you do that, for over 30 years, Clinton Forbes has solidified a reputation as a leader and innovator in public transportation. A Florida native, Forbes has been the executive director of Palm Tran since November 2015. Palm Tran, a mid-sized transit agency with more than 1,000 Palm Tran and contract employees, provides fixed route and paratransit services to the geographically largest county east of the Mississippi River. The bus system, using over 400 vehicles, travels to every major destination in Palm Beach County, providing more than 9 million rides and nearly 1 million paratransit trips annually. Forbes is responsible for a $174 million budget, which includes local, state, and federal funding. Prior to Palm Tran, Forbes spent 25 years at the senior management and leadership levels at the Miami-Dade Metropolitan Planning Organization and 3 transit properties, Miami-Dade Transit, the Jacksonville Transportation Authority, and the Central Ohio Transit Authority. At COTA, Forbes was vice president of operations overseeing more than 900 employees. And in 2015, Forbes rejoined the South Florida community when he accepted the role of Palm Tran executive director. Immediately upon arriving at Palm Tran, Forbes re-energized and transformed the Palm Beach County Transit Agency, introducing a variety of bold and necessary enhancement. And I can tell you, Mr. Forbes, I have definitely seen the transition of Palm Tran, the more visibility in the community, the leadership that you have, you being out in the community. I don't think before you I had ever even met the Palm Tran executive director or even knew who it was, to be frank. So thank you for all that you do. And so in your own words, though, let's talk about how did you even become interested in transit and transportation?
Sure. And before I begin, I'm so excited and privileged to do this lunch with you, Anne Marie. But I do want a real lunch where we are sitting across the table eating food. So yes. I'm going to hold you on that, okay?
For sure.
So no, look, it has been quite a journey in this business. I am the epitome of a public servant. My professional life, all my professional life, I've served in the public sector. I'm very proud of this. I often think about purpose, and we often think about purpose. When you talk about how did you get into the transit business? So I come from a family of public servants, from the military to the pulpit. Okay. And, my parents, they served. And I think that's a part of my DNA, public service. Sometimes, as you grow older, in your life, you sometimes sit back and muse and ask yourself this question: am I fulfilling my purpose? Because sometimes you think, man, should I have been a lawyer? Should I have, should I have been, in sports? I could have done all of these different things. I'm doing this. Am I fulfilling my purpose? And I can confidently tell you that I am. And it feels so great when you know that you are fulfilling your purpose and you are a servant leader and you are a public servant and you know that's what you love. It is a great feeling. So I don't have to ask myself that question because I know I am fulfilling my purpose of serving people, which is, in my family's legacy. So as you mentioned, I started out in Miami-Dade County. And I worked initially for the Board of County Commissioners and started my professional career, worked a stint in the mayor's office, which, we helped him secure a dedicated source of funding for transportation, and then had a great offer to work in Miami-Dade Transit as the chief of staff, the largest transit property in Florida. And then sort of my career after several years in Miami-Dade took off really in a northerly trajectory. I went to Jacksonville to lead the transit component of that organization. Then Columbus, Ohio, took a large leap to Columbus, Ohio to be the vice president, CEO designee of the Central Ohio Transit Authority, cold weather state, my first time actually living in cold weather. And then I was blessed to really be able to turn it around and rejoin the South Florida community in beautiful Palm Beach County. This makes me now have lived and worked in all three counties, in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. So I'm proud to rejoin Palm Beach County, but public servant and public transit, it's a part of my DNA.
No, that's amazing. So since you've come back to South Florida and since joining Palm Tran, what has been some of your challenges and what has been some of your successes?
Well, we say in the transit business, there is never a dull moment, okay? But we also say that because of the nature of what we do, we are helping people access opportunity. We are helping people fulfill their mobility needs. And that's important. When you talk about, and I'm very proud of our mission statement, and that is we provide access to opportunity for everyone, safely, efficiently, and courteously. And that's what we do. Access to jobs. People who don't have any other means of transportation, or maybe they do, we provide that access to job. We provide access to seek employment. We provide access to visit grandmother or visit our beautiful beaches and parks. We provide that opportunity to fulfill important medical appointments, to go to the grocery store. So, there are challenges, but I tell you, the reward is just so gratifying. There's one of the challenges, obviously, there's never enough funding to provide the services to a geographically large community such as Palm Beach County. And so that's a challenge when people say, I need service in my community and we have a finite budget and we can't provide that. That's always a challenge. But again, we have found a lot of successes in what we have done at Palm Tran. I think number one, finding the best in class professionals and employees to help to work with you, because you can't do it alone, is critically important. So I put a lot of emphasis on people. I put a lot of emphasis on people, serving people. And so we try to attract the best in class in everything we do in our organization. We implemented in 2018 the Route Performance Maximization Project, which was an entire bus redesign, a bus network redesign in Palm Beach County. We hadn't changed the transit system in more than 22 years. And that really, we had a real substantial return on our investment for that, where the transit system became more usable. It became more frequent. And so that was a major success during my tenure. We just recently opened up our Delray administrative headquarters in Delray Beach, Florida. It is a $25 million expansion of an existing facility, LEED certified. It is a nice new shiny object for Palm Tran. It's really nice.
It's beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful building. Yes.
Beautiful building. And just recently, and you've helped us with this, we have implemented and launched our smart card, our Paradise Pass. And that is just a new way to pay your fare, where it's much more convenient to the customer. It removes that barrier and thought from a choice rider, a person who could choose to drive their car or use transit, on how do I pay my fare, or when I get on the bus. I don't carry cash, and so you can now pay for by credit card, by mobile app. You can still use cash, and so we're very proud of what we've done implementing that, and we already have more than 5,000 people who have signed up and used the mobile app, and that's a new feature on our buses. So we're providing that. And last, in terms of success, the launch of the Go Glades Mobility on Demand service in the Glades region, which is one of the rural parts of Palm Beach County, includes Belle Glade, Pahokee, and South Bay. It is an economically challenged area. People that really need mobility assistance. And we implemented a mobility on demand. And what that is really door-to-door service, Uber-like service to the community. And it is a big hit in that community. We're looking at trying to take that pilot and expand it through other parts of the county. But it is being used at record rates. In fact, it's the only service that Palm Tran offers that we actually seen an increase during the pandemic, and it continues to increase. So those are just some of the successes we point to at Palm Tran.
Well, that's amazing, and congratulations, and please keep up the great work. I think it's so important for people to really understand the benefits. It's so many benefits, and the reason why public transit is so necessary. I think you touching on, and it being in your mission about creating opportunities for all. I think that's one major aspect of it. As I, do a lot of economic development work with cities and counties around our state and in other parts of the country, oftentimes one of the biggest barriers, economic barriers is transportation. Transportation options, transportation affordability, transportation accessibility are always, a big barrier. So the fact that you're in this industry and solving that problem, that's a great thing. But I think sometimes too, others who may not understand the importance of public transportation have different perceptions about public transportation. So how have you, as a director in your career, not just with Palm Tran, but just in your career, help in communities overcoming what they perceive public transportation to be or not to be? Because you just talked about, I can take the bus to the beach. Some people only think about, I don't have to use public transit because I'm not using it to go to work or wherever, but they don't think about the leisure activities that they may be able to use public transit for, and the fact that it has a great environmental benefit with less cars on the road. So can you talk about just some of those ways that you've been able to, in your career, kind of change this perception around public transit?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And, Anne-Marie, I actually, I can let you answer this question because your partnership with Palm Tran is so critically important in communicating the values and benefits of public transit. I mean, we still have to, pound the drum, continue that drumbeat about the values and benefits of public transit. It's what really makes a community a community. It's what makes a community vibrant. And so we have to continue to effectively communicate that. And your company has helped us do that. So I really appreciate your services as well.
Thank you.
And so you mentioned, from environmental cost savings to traffic mitigation to the economy. look, these are the benefits of transit. And we're providing, access to opportunity, for people to have employment and seek employment. So those are very, very important aspects. And look, I do not see out of rose-colored glasses. This is a transit system, and folks mostly have cars, right? That's the dominant mode of transportation. And I'm not asking folks. A lot of transportation leaders just say, "Oh, give up your car, use transit." That's not what I'm asking you to do. My ask is just try it. It's been a staple in your community for over 50 years. Have you ever let me just try to ride the bus one day? And we make it really easy for you because we use technology. We have an app at palmtran.org. And when you download that app, either at your Google app or your iTunes, we'll trip plan that trip for you. You just like when you trip plan with Uber or Lyft or using your GPS when you're driving your car, we do the same thing with Palm Tran. You put, your current location, the GPS finds you, and then you put in your destination, and it'll tell you step by step, walk, 20 feet to this bus stop, board the bus at this time, and it tells you exactly what time that bus will get you there. And those are the types of features that will attract people to the system. So all I'm saying is just give it a try. Try to take more trips using transit. Take your kids on a field trip. We have a route in the western part of the community in Wellington that traverses 441 and goes east on Lake Worth Boulevard to the beautiful Lake Worth Beach. And it's a direct shot. We drop you off right at the Lake Worth Beach Casino. And that's a great trip. I've taken my family on that trip. That's a great trip to just take and enjoy the day, stress-free, and you save money. So there are a lot of benefits of transit. Look, and it's not like, we don't have anybody riding. We have more than 20,000 people a day using Palm Tran, public transport. Wow. And so we definitely want to increase on that number. But it's safe, it's smart. It's you save money, you're stress-free. These are some of the benefits of using Palm Tran, and we have to continue to communicate those values, that it's a safe service and you can use it.
Absolutely. So how do you address when people say, especially because, big metro cities, especially up north, transit is a thing. That's what happens, whether it's the subway or the bus system, whatever, but their frequency is usually a lot higher than our transit systems here in Florida. So how do you address frequency, especially for like the business professional or, somebody who has to go to multiple places in a day? How do you address that to make it, to let them know that it's super convenient? I love the fact that there's an app and that there are many features on the app that can really, like you say, help people plan their trip, plan their day. I love that. And I think more people definitely need to know more about that as well. So what do you say when it comes to like frequency, and you have all these different things, errands to run and places to go?
Right. So that's what it's all about, frequency. Right. Time is the most cherished commodity. It's the most cherished commodity, right? I mean, you cannot get it back. And so people are always wanting to know, how much time am I going to have to spend in traffic in your personal vehicle? How much time I'm going to have to wait at a bus stop? How much time is it going to take me to get to point A to point B in that bus? It is such a critical variable of our system. And so, yes, that's what we need to do. And that's what we've been doing at Palm Tran, is revving up and dialing up our frequency on the service. And so what that means, in layman terms, is that the bus either comes every 15 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, or an hour. Now, in major metropolitan cities, as you mentioned, they have the density and the funding to provide 10 to 15 minute service. That promotes transit use, because people are like, I don't have to wait. I don't even need a schedule. I just stand at a stop, and 10 to 15 minutes, I know a bus will be there. Well, most of our schedules in Palm Beach County, our bus schedules are 30 minutes to an hour. And so if a person has to stand and wait for an hour, and if you potentially miss that bus, you're waiting for nearly 2 hours. That's not what people want to do. Yeah. So our goal here at Palm Tran is to really dial up our frequency. And it's a proven concept that frequency increases ridership, improves use of the system. We just recently increased the frequency on Okeechobee Boulevard. It's our Route 43, going from West Palm Beach to Wellington. And we increased the frequency just about 10 minutes, from 30 minutes to 20 minutes. And we have already seen since September an increase of 15% in ridership. And so that requires funding, because transit is about time and money and about labor. And so if you have the service out there longer, you have to, of course, pay longer. So the prospect and what we're looking at is to try to find a dedicated funding source so we can really expand our transit system, make it more frequent for people to use and build ridership, that way. So it's connected to money, but it definitely we have to ramp up our system in terms of frequency on our mini routes. Wow.
Well, thank you. Now, when we talk about, and particularly in this show, we like to also talk about different opportunities in our community as it relates to economic development. And so I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts, or, where are the opportunities for business and entrepreneurs, particularly, especially minority Black entrepreneurs, when it comes to transit? And are there any opportunities with Palm Tran, of course? And then from an employment standpoint, everybody's saying they can't find employees. Are you guys having the same challenge with Palm Tran?
Yeah, we are having similar challenges with finding employees. We're throwing some incentives out there here and there. But what I think that's, again, that's not a Palm Tran issue or isolated issue to any type of industry. Well, somewhat to the industry, but to a particular business. I think that during the pandemic, people they were able to take a step back and really understand and feel what it feels like to be home, for an extended period of time, and made choices about their life value choices on whether, you want to be in an office or you want to try to do something at home. And I think a lot of people have done that. They've saved enough money and they said, you know what, I might not be earning as much as being in an office, but this is the value capture that I have, staying at home and doing my own thing. I think a lot of that happened. And so you really have to try to entice folks to come back to the workplace. We're not like a lot of other transit agencies that may be, 70, 80 operators down. We're about probably 30 bus operators down. Our typical number is somewhere around 10 to 11. So we're working on, incentives to attract bus operators, and that's our biggest class. Look, we have 640, employees on the county side of the house for Palm Tran, and so we Palm Tran Palm Tran and transit agencies are kind of considered microcosms of county government. Because you have marketing, you have your finance leg, you have operations, you have administrative, you have human resources. All of those are within the confines of transit agencies' walls. And so we have a really diverse group of positions that we offer at Palm Tran. And I'll ask your viewership to visit palmtran.org and look at our job board to see, what might be available. We have, financial positions, administrative, clerical positions. And of course, the large part of our positions are specialized, the bus operator position, technician, you have to have some prerequisites in terms of commercial driver's license, et cetera. But we do, in terms of contracting opportunities, we also have a number of contract opportunities that we partner, with the vendor community. You're one of them, Anne Marie,
Yes.
and professional services. So in terms of training, we do a lot of training in those type of in procuring professional services for training and other types of services. There are also other types of specialized services that we procure in terms of vendors that work on our vehicles and computer systems, et cetera. So there's a very number of opportunities at Palm Tran. I'd encourage your viewership to register as a Palm Beach County vendor, and we typically advertise those opportunities on Palm Beach County's website. And so if you see something at Palm Tran, we definitely want to take a look at you, and that might be your next opportunity. So yes, we have a lot of opportunities here at Palm Tran.
Absolutely. That's great. And I think people, because again, especially those who may not be familiar with government contracting or understanding that, like you said, you are an agency that kind of quasi serves independently almost, but you have all those same functions as the larger government agency. I want to talk about transportation and the infrastructure bill. How do you see the infrastructure bill that was just passed impacting Palm Tran? I hear that about $4 billion or so is slated to come into the state of Florida at some point. So how does the infrastructure bill impact your agency, but the transit community at large?
Well, since the pandemic, the emergency federal dollars that have come down from Washington have really kept our economy and our industry afloat. We're still learning, so of course we received the CARES bill, the federal funding and support, CRISA, and the American Rescue ARP. And so now we have the infrastructure. So we have been tremendously blessed in the transit industry. I tell you, it is welcome money. It's the largest amount of money I've ever seen in my career infused in this industry. The transportation infrastructure bill, we're very happy that got across the line. We're still learning on how it's going to impact us directly in terms of dollars into our organization. But we do know it's a $70 billion investment in public transportation across the country. We're looking at potentially a 30% increase in federal formula funding, which equates to several $1 million in our annual budget. So again, it's a new bill. There are some discretionary aspects to it where we'd have to actually compete, apply for the grants and compete. And there's some formula aspects to the bill where based on population and our ridership on our system, we get an allocation of dollars from the bill. So we're happy to have it. We are going to use those dollars to ramp up our frequency and our usability of our service. We're not accepting that we're 30% down in ridership as a result of the pandemic. We are going to work hard as an organization to regain our customers and add some new customers. We have seen a slow creep in our ridership back to the system, and it's progressively going in the right direction in terms of increases in ridership. But we plan to use those monies really to benefit the community in providing better transit and mobility in Palm Beach County. Did I lose you? Anne Marie, did I lose you? All right, you back online?
I am from my phone because, yeah, technical difficulties with my internet here.
All right. All right, no problem.
Infrastructure.
How much of that did you get or didn't you get?
Oh man, you were talking about the federal funding and how you're going to have a 30% increase. I think that was the last of what I got.
Yeah, so we're going to have a 30% increase in formula funding, which is based on the population and ridership on the system, and that's a substantial amount of millions of dollars infused into our system. And so we're anticipating that. Again, we're still learning about the bill. There'll be a number of discretionary grants that'll be available for the infrastructure bill. But with all of that, we really are going to invest in the system to make it more usable for our customers, to expand, to make it more frequent, so that we get more riders. And it's a proven concept. We have proof in concept with our route performance maximization project that we implemented in 2018. We have proof of concept for the service we improved on Okeechobee Boulevard. And we have proof in concept of the mobility on demand approach in the Glades region. So all we need to do is spend a little money to make the system usable and attractive to people like you and me who have vehicles but may choose to use transit a few days a week. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Well, that is really good stuff. And I look forward to seeing what else you develop. Like I said, I have personally seen the difference, being someone who's basically grew up in Palm Beach County, grew up in the Glades, where since a little girl was taking public transit. My mom took public transit for years, coming from the Glades to West Palm Beach to work. And so, seeing the difference over the years of how transportation has evolved in Palm Beach County and just in general in the industry is very impressive in what you're doing,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Forbes. So thank you so much. And please keep up the good work. What else would you like to share with our audience before we let you go? Because I know you have a busy schedule ahead of you.
Well, I do want them to know that our information so that they can visit our website, get your smart card or your Paradise Pass, download our mobile app. So I did want to share our contact information.
Yes,
so,
please.
palmtran.org is where you can find us. We're on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those. We're on all of those. And our contact number is 561-841-4BUS. 561-841-4BUS or 4327. All right. So it's been absolute pleasure. And we hope to see you on transit.
Absolutely. Well, stay with us for a moment. Let me just make some quick announcements. And again, thank you for joining me today. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we make it work.
All right.
So I want to just thank everyone who has been tuning in with Lunch with Legacy Leaders all of 2021. We started this journey back in July of 2020. And it has been a great journey. I want to thank all of our guests that we've had. We've had some phenomenal guests this year. And we're going to continue in January with more amazing guests, amazing leaders, where we'll be addressing all the different issues that are happening in and around South Florida, as well as our country. So please continue to stay tuned. I want to thank our sponsors again, the Mesman and Dover Accident Attorneys and AARP.
And please be sure to pick up your copy of the Sun Sentinel and the Miami Herald, depending on where you're living, so that you can see the most influential and prominent women in business and industry. That comes out this Sunday. Congratulations to all of the honorees, all the amazing women out there doing amazing work in their careers and in our community. So congratulations to them. And again, be sure to pick up your copy in the Sun Sentinel or the Miami Herald, or you can simply just go online at MIA Media Group, and that's grp.com, so that you can see the digital copy. Also, coming back to you in 2022, make sure you watch our shows. We have something for everybody. On Mondays, The Business of Black Business at 1 p.m. with Jay Reynolds. Tuesdays, My Money, Your Money at 7 p.m. with Bridgette Lumpkins. Wednesday, we have Soul with Nikki Jellin. And Thursdays, we have two shows for you. At noon, Lunch with Legacy Leaders with yours truly, as well as Flavor of South Florida at 7 p.m. with Chef Irie. So please have a safe and wonderful holiday season. We'll see you in 2022. And thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Forbes, for joining us and being our last guest of the year. And again, mark your calendars. We'll be back with you every Thursday at noon. See you then. Thank you, everyone.